Okay, Ruby Barker, who played Marina Thompson in Bridgerton on Netflix, which I didn't watch, has just come out to complain, everyone pull out your tiniest violins because we are going to play them for her. Apparently, Netflix and Shonda Rhimes didn't reach out to her after she suffered 2 psychotic breaks, supposedly as a result of the way that her mental health deteriorated while she was filming Bridgerton. She expected, I suppose, for Netflix to pay for her therapy, to essentially be her family members,
that was
her supporters.
The number one thing I saw when I saw this is, where's your family and friends? That's who's supposed to support you in this time period.
It's just like, what did you expect them to do? And how did you expect them to know that you went through a psychotic break after you were done filming? Basically, the story is, as they were filming season 1, she played this character who was very alienated and ostracized because she was trying to hide a pregnancy. And then once they finished filming the first season, she had this psychotic break, had to go into a mental hospital, and then it happened again later on. And then she opened up about this on Instagram last year and expected for Shonda Rhimes personally to call her or email her and ask her if she was okay and like fund her therapy sessions or something. I don't know what she expected. What are they supposed to do?
What is she trying to? Is it like the argument that it's workers' comp in a way? Like she got injured on the set?
No, she's more just upset at the lack of thought. Like she's saying you're bad people for doing this. It's not so much as she's expecting something from them. She's just saying, I can't believe that this corporation full of individuals who don't have any strong connection to me don't care deeply about my mental health.
If you can't play a character and not and you let that affect your real mental health, then maybe you're not cut out to be an actor.
Well, what they don't tell people is, this isn't a 9-to-5 job. You don't clock in and clock out. This is like more akin to a contractor. I mean, it's literally a contract that they signed.
She compared the expectation for her to do promo for Bridgerton. She called that emotional labor.
I'm telling you, man.
So lazy,
emotional labor.
No guy would ever. Not even the weirdest in Hollywood would say that. I don't think.
So maybe they would. This was in a podcast that is run by Oxford University. Weirdly enough.
Let's play the
let's
clip.
play this clip where she explains it.
Circumstances. And the thing is with like Bridgerton, I'll tell you something. And I'm happy to talk about it now, but not a single person from Netflix, not a single person from Shondaland, since I have had 2 psychotic breaks from that show, have even contacted me or emailed me to ask me if I'm okay, or ask me if I would benefit from any sort of aftercare or support.
On. Then don't work there.
Right?
Aftercare.
No, but
and acting, which is your job, is so traumatic for you that you need aftercare.
Don't stay someone where you're like, okay, I agree. If someone got into if you got into a tragic car accident, I would assume someone from work would be like, oh my God, Mary, are you okay? Right? If you got really hurt in a car accident, right?
How would they find out if I didn't tell
That's a great question. I assume because
she didn't tell anyone. She went through psychotic breaks.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a great point. Well, I assume when I don't know if this was when they weren't filming, but if you just stopped showing up, people would be like, yo, where's Mary? And, and what I'm trying to say is, if no one reached out to you and you were on, death's door, I'd be like, okay, then that workplace doesn't value you, right? And it does nothing to sit there and complain and moan and say, woe is me.
Man-woman thing.
You think?
Maybe because I don't think the men would expect their complaints to be taken seriously.
Well, one of the biggest pushes in mental health awareness is for men to start opening up more about their feelings and about their mental health struggles.
The second they do that, women mog them for it.
That's true. Good use of the word, Brett.
Clearly, in the first place, men aren't even interested in opening up about their feelings because that's something that appeals primarily to women who want to commiserate.
That's why we like sports, because it's very simple. How many points did they score?
Men need an outlet. Women need conversation. But I saw some comments that are sympathetic with us. So she couldn't separate her real life from her character, and that's their responsibility. I don't think I fully understand.
I like the one above it, where the person says, I kind of get what she's talking about. When you work with people for a while, you develop friendships, but I've never had my previous employer reach out to me to make sure I'm okay.
Another said, I'm confused. Did she not read the script and audition for her part, knowingly agree in contract to play the character? How does she blame a production company for her own choice to play a villainous character? I mean, I didn't watch Bridgerton, and I'm not planning on it. Did you?
No.
Okay, like
I've never watched a single episode.
This was for her big break in the entertainment industry. Yep. When before she was just in like
and that's
theater productions, but like this is how people know her, and she seems to resent it so heavily.
Which is fine, but don't make it my problem, right? So like that's what I was saying, is a contractor, you don't know when the next job is going to be, right? You have your current job and you hope you can find more. And I'm not just talking about actors, but it applies to actors and actresses, and they don't realize it, that it's like, it's stressful. It's the hours it could be 16-hour days. It could be 2-hour days. It could be a 10 day work week. It could be a 2-day work week. You don't know. And it's not a stable kind of, not lifestyle, but workflow, right? It's a roller coaster when you're in these types of jobs, and it can drain you mentally. And a lot of people are not cut out for it. And that's okay if that's what she's going through. And if you're going to have a psychotic break, but don't make it my problem.
That's one of the reasons we've been complaining about the strike, right? It's like, look, you chose a career with very little security.
I mean, honestly, I don't even agree with that, because this woman, after getting a part in a minor, somewhat relevant Netflix show, is pretty much set for at least a few years. Because I look at her Instagram and every post is a paid post. She has brand deals with jewelry companies, with she's now an ambassador for a mental health charity. I'm sure she gets paid for that. She's ambassadors for all these different brands and is getting paid for all these other things beyond just her role on Bridgerton. But she wouldn't have gotten those opportunities without Netflix getting her there. So I mean, really, I think this is quite a cushy job.
Remember when smartphones just like first started putting the front-facing cameras in, and then almost instantaneously started seeing those hospital bed selfies, right?
True.
Social media loves trauma. Yep. And whether she knows it or not, right? She's capitalizing on it.
It's geared towards women. And I really do believe that for this, a guy just would never have that expectation of a company they work for. And if they did, I feel like other dudes would make fun of them for it, because it's not logical. It doesn't make any sense. The company, like, you can talk about health insurance, but you're an independent contractor, so you're not getting health insurance out of it. It's your job, it's your responsibility to have your own health care, to take care of your mental health. It's your job to do that.
Well, actually, since she's British, it's up to the NHS, and that's why she's become a bit of an activist, is she's calling for all these reforms in their mental health treatments.
But isn't Netflix an American company? So isn't she technically working on an American visa, or is she not?
No,
I'm not sure. I think they filmed it in the UK.
So I guess that I don't know how that works then for labor laws.
But she's like calling for all these reforms that I'm sure there are plenty of reforms to mental health treatment that are very much needed in the UK. Fine. But I mean, I think it's not necessarily about helping other people get better treatment. It's just about her having her spotlight to complain and whine. And honestly, trauma dump on the internet when nobody is interested. It should not be any of the internet's business that you went through 2 psychotic breaks after filming a show. Well, it's not even relatable.
It's the old saying that when someone asks you how you're doing, you're supposed to say good. You're supposed to give a positive answer, because no one actually cares.
Because it's compassionate and respectful.
No one actually cares how you're doing.
What was the ad campaign where it was like when you ask somebody for like how they're doing, and they actually give you the actual answer, and it's way too much information.
Yeah, usually when people say, "Hey, how you doing?" I don't even say I'm doing well. I'm just like, "Hey, man, what's up?" Yeah. It's like I treat it as a greeting. I'm not even, you're passing by. But even like late nights when Brett and I have started talking about work, it's not just like us complaining about our lives. It's like, oh, I have this particular issue with what I do here. And it's almost like we're trying to figure out solutions to the problem and talking out the problem rather than just complaining about it, right? And I think that kind of goes on what you're saying with men and women are wired a little bit differently, where if we start complaining or start critiquing something in our lives, right, we're looking for a solution. We're not just looking to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it, right?
Would Shonda, imagine she gets her fairy tale wish and Shonda Rhimes herself calls her. She doesn't want Shonda Rhimes to call her and be like, we can offer you this, 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 and this. She wants her to call and be like, oh, so how you doing? Oh,
right, like she wants to be personal buddies with Shonda Rhimes. Or I don't even know if they've met before. I mean, how would she know? Shonda Rhimes is probably like, oh, this is the first time you're telling me. This is the first time.
Why does she sound like Donald Trump?
Is that how she sounds? Can you play her voice real quick? I have to hear.
That's literally what I'm talking about.
She does not sound like that. But
you're telling me this for the first time. That's Shonda Rhimes right now.
Yeah.
But like you also mentioned, she's so insecure, but at the same time so cocky, because she refers to this other role that she had before Bridgerton that she really. She says, I killed it. Not to toot my own horn, but I killed it in that role.
But you got to realize when she goes on these rants or tirades, whatever you want to call them, thousands of people are liking these posts. It's just fueling that ego, right? And it's a vicious cycle. It's sad because we're seeing it over and over and over again. And it's fun to poke fun at these people, but it's just like, how do we actually solve this problem?
Social media really seems to have made her think she's such a genius.
Do we need people to not? Because I think a lot of people who are critical of what she's doing, they don't speak up.
People are asking who Shonda Rhimes is. Shonda Rhimes is a very, very powerful Hollywood producer. She produced the show Scandal, and she produced and created Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, which have both had very, very long. Grey's Anatomy is still on the air, as far as I know, and Scandal is kind of the role that made Kerry Washington a mainstay figure in Hollywood. So she's very much a tastemaker in Hollywood.
Sean Doherty tweeted, I remember asking Toni Collette after a Hereditary screening something like, how did you manage to deal with a role as traumatic as this? And she cheerily responded, well, it's just a movie. So, that sounds like a much more mentally stable response than this.
Different generation, man.
Different
generation. Like,
she also said that she, Ruby Barker, said she felt pressure to appear bubbly in line with the feel of the show.
Job.
And it felt like she had an invisible gun pointed at her head.
Some days, guys, I want to come on here and be like, hi, guys. It's episode 300 I don't fucking know. Pop culture crisis, guys. How's it going? Like, there are days where you feel like that.
Well, there's the lines of being, because of how big, kids want to be YouTubers now, right? That is completely your own boss kind of job. You're the talent. You are the director. You are the writer. It is all you. And so we're seeing these lines blurred where these young actresses assume these are YouTube jobs. It's like, no, you're working for a large production company. You've got a director. You've got other actresses and
who have their own jobs to do.
That have their own jobs to do. You're part of a very well-oiled or hopefully well-oiled machine.
We're also seeing a lot.
It's not just you.
A large growth in celebrities and actors asking for them to have on-site therapists in productions. That's a big thing now.
Someone said, once again, proving Netflix doesn't care about their workers, just about the money. I wish Netflix cared about the money.
Can we just put EMTs through a 15-minute course that says they've got like basic therapy skills, like they can talk to other humans and call it a day?
Welcome to episode 482 of Pop
You know what,
Culture
Brett?
Crisis.
That's it. Right there. Since no one sits there, all right, therapist. All right,
We're putting them right there.
We're putting them right there.
What is wrong with people? Another person responded, Ruby gave her all in Bridgerton, and they can't even drop a hey, how you doing? Shame on them!
Bots.
That's gotta be fake.
NPCs.
Does someone actually, think this way?
Dude, the NPCs, but it's just,
I'm scared for this
jump
world.
in with both feet into every issue and just go all in, and then they get right out and go on to the next one.
I am actually scared for this world.
What do
there
you
are
mean?
people that think that way.
What do you mean?
Just is another symptom of social media.
Like they have to have an opinion on every
It's
topic.
like you have to dive in completely and then they move on. So it's like in 2 weeks she'll be complaining about something else.
My favorite,
and people will be very, very passionate about it.
She's not going to be on season 3 or whatever season they're on of Bridgerton if she keeps talking like this.
I love not having to have opinions on stuff. I love it.
But you do have to have opinions.
But not on everything. Like there's a whole there's a whole war going on right now that I don't have to have an opinion.
Well, I just try to because I've never watched Bridgerton. I don't know the director. I don't know this actress. But I'm just trying to think of it from a normal kind of person. Like if your local Starbucks barista posted a video like this, you'd be like, what the heck? What's going on?
My shift manager didn't ask me how I was doing.
I was sick and they didn't call me.
We had the video the other day of the lady who like made the thing about having to work her first 9 to 5 shift, right? And then I remember, do you remember the Starbucks video from like a year ago where the guy's like, I have to work the whole day,
yep.
and
That's what it
nobody
made
else
me think of.
and nobody else.
Well,
can
it was technically a girl who thought she was a guy.
No, well,
So I don't know, man. I don't
So
know.
that might factor into the mental stability there.
Bucky Ducky says, Brett, isn't it your job to have an opinion? I have to have an opinion on the stuff we choose to talk about, but I don't have to just go around and have an opinion on everything. I see stuff all the time. Like, and part of this is kind of the subjectivity of the internet, and it's a little bit about what we were discussing earlier, right? Like, you get so, like, on any given issue, you could get 10,000 responses. Do you really have time to go through all of those responses and look at which one is correct or not? You're kind of just, in a lot of ways, taking your first instinct because life happens so fast. The internet just bombards you with information. Like, I don't have to have an opinion on every single topic to do with Middle East conflict, with a hockey player getting a skate to his neck. I don't. I can, with this, we have a job. We have topics we pick about, and then we have to have formulated opinions on those.
And here's what people don't realize for the viewers at home is at this company, you know, doing what we all do, we have these conversations about, let's say, just say the culture war in Hollywood and stuff. We have these conversations regularly all day off camera. So we get it out of our systems. And so I understand the notion that a lot of people don't have that outlet. And
especially at their workplace.
Yeah,
and if they
sure.
did, maybe we'd see a lot less of this constant complaining and crybabying on the internet. Because, you know, a lot of times, it's like I open Twitter and a few seconds later I close it because I'm just like, I'm exhausted.
626 says, if you don't, someone else will decide your opinion for you. No, they won't.
Yeah.
Not sharing my opinion does not mean that I don't have to, like, it literally means I don't need to go look further into something that isn't influencing my life right now. Like, it just doesn't. And
nobody's formed my opinion about Hamas for me.
If anything,
I have.
If anything, I find that to be a drain on your mental resources, right? Like, don't give time to something that doesn't actually going to benefit your life.
Well, we you know, this has been lost, but this was a saying that was very popular, is that the president of the United States, right? How much impact does he actually have on your daily life? Very little, right? Go vote for your mayor. Go vote for your local, school board, and people don't. And it's the same as like go and support the local musicians.
Does. Scott Pressler is
your
doing
local
more.
Theater. But like, I don't want to just talk about politics. Like, when's the last time you went to your local theater and supported a local play? Right? When's the last time you went to like an artsy cafe where they're having an open mic night? Right? Let's stop giving our time and mental. Just stop thinking about these celebrities. They don't deserve it.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.